BattleBorn Broadcast Center. You heard it. Justin Watkins was in earlier. Good conversation, a lot of yelling between he and Adam Hill. We're actually talking about college football conference realignment. We'll get back to some of the rumors around that during the 5 o'clock hour. Lots of Raiders updates in the NBA. See if we can find some time to get the latest on the Lakers roster. Very interesting. A lot of old guys, but I thought they did a good job of signing some young dudes as well. The Knicks, New York is very excited. Kemba Walker is now a member of the Knicks. Exciting times. Not exactly the massive haul that they expected, including Brad Beal and Dame Lillard. A little bit of a drop down.
Still time.
You know, there is still time. A lot of people were getting mad at the Lakers, and I thought the Lakers made a couple of shrewd signings yesterday. All right, Big Five time.
BattleBorn Injury Lawyers presents the Big Five at 5. Number 5.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Football camps all over the place. Yep, live video running right now on Twitter and Facebook. Twitch, if you want to check that out. Raiders camp is humming along. We'll tell you about the latest defensive player they're kicking the tires on in just a little bit. But UNLV camp, you know, from the outside, not a whole lot of excitement about UNLV football after last year. The exposure wasn't that great. But I'm telling you, from the look, just seeing, and this is going to sound cheesy, but it does matter. And hopefully guys can play. The look of the team is much different than in years past. They are a much bigger team. Like at every position, you can see it, you know, especially on the lines. They were an undersized defense the last couple of years, and especially on the defensive line. You know, there's a difference when you've got a guy who's, you know, 6'3" and 280 being able to play defensive tackle as opposed to a guy who's 5'11" and 250.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. you play at a low level, but I mean, there's at some point when you're a smaller defensive tackle, as an example, even tenacity and an engine, it's hard to overcome the behemoths that play on the interior in college football.
Even if you're good enough to match up, even if you're good enough to play, you're going to get worn down really quickly by just being leaned on by those bigger guys, even if you're better than them.
And I thought the last couple of years that was one of the big problems on the defensive line, not only getting worn down, but just getting you get the hell beat out of you from an injury standpoint. And all of a sudden, then you're going 3 deep, and then you really do have guys out there who are, 5'10" and 265 pounds trying to play on the interior. So the team has a better look. Now, quarterback is going to be a key position. Doug Broomfield, I think, has the lead on Justin Rogers. But now Tate Martell could be in the mix. He wasn't out there today. He hasn't been cleared yet. That's what Marcus Arroyo, the head coach, told us when we spoke to him. He did talk about Martell specifically. First off, why did they have interest in bringing Martell in, who has bounced around, all over the country trying to make his way in college football?
We had a conversation over summer a few times, and over the time we got a chance to get to know each other about our backgrounds and what we were both looking for, what our culture stands for, kind of get a feel for where he's at, what he's looking for, if there was a fit, and any opportunity we've got to for anybody to make our team better or to enhance our roster or to provide an opportunity for a young man to, at this stage in college football, to have a chance, that I'm willing and open to that opportunity. And regardless where they are, what they're from, what their background is, that's kind of the platform that us as coaches at this level got to have to do.
It's a hell of a story, and I have no idea how it's going to end up. It could be Tate Martell takes over the quarterback job at some point in the season, maybe early on, and they look like a much improved program. It could be he walks in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
And it's not a thing on the kid. I don't know.
No, it's a great unknown. He has played so little over the last couple of years. I mean, yeah, he's been practicing and he's been on rosters and he's been around, but he's played so little of game time. I think you're right. The range of outcomes here is such a wide parabola. I think that's the right word. It could go
impressive
anywhere.
If you used it correctly.
I don't know if I did or not. He could, again, I'll just reiterate what you said, but he could learn the offense quickly, win the job, have an unbelievable season, and write this crazy ending to this insane saga of, top prospect bouncing around college football, finally finding himself back home. Could absolutely happen. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think there's a good chance that could happen. He could finally practice with the team and be like, that's not what I wanted.
I don't like this.
I'm done. Like, anything is possible. It's insane. And I think that's what makes this story so intriguing. We talked about it earlier. Like, UNLV has been trying and trying to do everything they can and trying to build and trying to get interest and everything they've been trying to do for years. And I never hear from anybody. People are blowing me up. What is going on with Tate Martell? People are interested in this story, which that can't be bad for the team already. Already there's people interested and want to find out. But certainly if there is, some final chapter to be written, people will absolutely gravitate to that. It will be a fascinating story, not just here locally, but also all across college football.
I know nothing. I've watched the film I've watched. I wasn't his coach. I wasn't at those other places. I know he likes football. I know he cares about competing. He's got some traits about him that I haven't talked to him and just getting a chance to meet him that I like. Outside of that, we get a chance to coach him. I'm excited about that.
There you go. That's a good admission. He's like, I watch. I mean, he knows him. He knows about him. I'm sure he's got the intel on him. When he said he knows nothing, he's also trying to back off a little bit. Like, I didn't coach him, so. And again, they're going to dampen expectations until there's a certainty that he's in the mix. He's winning over teammates. He's winning over coaches. Right now, it's an experiment.
If I know nothing is not already clipped as a drop, then I don't know what he's doing.
Number 4.
Wow, Scott Elliott coming in with Rebels 5 wins. Be nice.
Over. Bet the over.
Be nice. Yeah. I've had a lot of people almost say jokingly, are they going to win over 1.5? They're going to win over 1.5.
That's the total.
I know.
So bet it.
Okay, I have. And I told JVT, John, 2 weeks ago, I had one of his stories from VSiN in the New York Post, and I was like, dude, that's ridiculous. They're going to win some games.
He had the under?
Yeah.
I would say, talking to a lot of people this morning, I won't say who or where. People know where I was. It'd be hard to find somebody to bet the over.
Which is, that's fine. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's ridiculous. People can have their opinions. So,
you know who the quarterback is.
That is a big part of it. But I didn't think. I thought a couple of games they were completely outmanned. I thought there were other games that they just gassed in the middle of the third or in the fourth.
It's also a really hard schedule.
This year's schedule is really hard.
It's really hard.
But I also believe around the Mountain West there are some teams that are not that good, and I also think that those teams that aren't that good will, if they are having some success, will let off the gas pedal. Now, this isn't some glowing review and saying they're going to win 8 games. It's just that throughout a football season, it's hard not to win a couple of games if you're decent.
Well, Steve's calling for a bowl game.
I didn't call for a bowl game. I'm just telling you. I think it is the 1.5 is underselling some of the talent.
How about this? If they're undefeated, will they get in the national championship playoff?
Okay. I think that's a realistic question. Okay. Scott Elliott responded with good run game. It should be. It should be better than it was a year ago. The offensive line let him down, but Charles Williams is a very nice running back. And I like the collection of running backs they have. I think Chad Magyar is going to be back in the mix. This Javon Wilson kid, listen, I got to see him play first, but he can kind of fill that mid-size back role. Sammy Green, I think, if he can stay healthy, is going to be a contributor, and he's kind of like a mini Courtney Reese. So I think they're going to have some weapons out of the backfield.
There's zero doubt. If you're out there saying there's no talent on the team, you're insane. They definitely upgraded talent. There's talent. There's talent in the program already. They have upgraded the talent with pieces from around. There's no question about that. I think what the issue is for a lot of people around here who have year after year after year heard about, oh, this guy's coming in or this talented guy is coming in. Oh, they've upgraded on the offensive line and haven't seen the results. I understand why people are going to be slow to come around and why you think that, okay, I've gotten hope every year and it's never happened. I get all that. But you have to, look at what's going on and say, okay, yeah, there's definitely more talent there. Will it come together and will it result in wins? That's what we need to find out.
Number 3.
We're going to actually do number 4 now since we were just reacting.
Number 4.
Are you more worried about what UNLV football does this year or what the leadership in the Mountain West Conference does this year?
It's not even close.
Like we know what this year is for UNLV football. It's a building year. This is such a massive year for the conference. Are the leaders of the conference doing anything right now? Are they just choosing to do it quietly while the AAC is just all blustery because they're getting all these headlines? It seems like they're working to the point where they pissed off Big 12 brass, where Big 12 brass is like, we're suing ESPN.
Well, that is my favorite part of this. Before we get into the Mountain West side, my favorite thing is that people are still like, can the Big 12 do something to save itself? Maybe they'll pluck some AAC schools away. And the AAC is like, no, we'll pluck the top Big 12 schools and we'll be the new power conference. We're not going to wait around for them to make up their mind. And I think it's instructive for everybody else. Not that it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I doubt it, because I think the Big 12 has more power. And if they are going to consolidate, it'll be a Big 12 conference, not an AAC conference. I think it's instructive for everyone else to be, you need to go first.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit around and wait and find out. Look no further than Kansas, because Kansas learned last time. There's going to be realignment. Kansas got left out, and they were going to end up in the Mountain West. And all that stuff fell apart. But now Kansas is like, oh, no. We're not going to wait. We're not going to wait and see what the Big 12 decides to do when it all shakes out. We'll go talk to the Big 10. And schools and conferences that act first are going to be much better positioned to have a voice going forward.
The AAC is being aggressive, although today Mike Oresco, the commissioner, was very careful to follow legal guidelines.
Of course.
Right?
Has to.
Because the Big 12 is suggesting, this lawsuit against ESPN, saying that ESPN was working with the AAC to destroy the Big 12. And Oresco, the commissioner, said our conference has never strategically aligned or plotted with ESPN to influence conference structures, which we know behind the scenes there had to be discussions.
Of course they have.
Now, if anyone was dumb enough to send an email or, freaking hard copy proof, then they're screwed. So we'll see what comes out of this. But the AAC is, the bottom line is, it seems like the AAC is active. But I don't want to say the Mountain West is doing nothing because I don't know. But I just, based on the history, there's been many cases where the Mountain West has been left hanging there, and they're like, wait, you're leaving too?
Yeah.
You're leaving? And they've recovered. They've added some nice schools over the years. San Jose, not so much. Utah State, yes, good grab.
Yeah, but I think in terms of conferences and whether they're talking to networks, yes, yes, all of them are. Like, the networks are making the decisions here. Of course, they're talking to them.
Number 3.
Boy, Dodger Stadium last night. That was rough. They lost, Dodgers, but man, the fans, they had their say with the Astros.
They had some chants going. They were throwing trash cans out on the field. It was great.
Astros are good though. It pains me to say it. They're freaking really good. And Lance McCullers pitched a good game. Dodger bats couldn't get going.
By the way, Walker Buehler pitched a really good game.
He pitched a brilliant game.
He was awesome. Now he's 11-2, I think, because he got the loss. He was great.
There goes the Cy Young. He's out.
Still in. Yeah, I mean, listen, I was happy because I bet the Astros. I thought it was an insane number in that game last night. But it was fun for the Dodgers fans, I think, even in a loss, to finally have that release. Yeah. Like, they've been waiting for this. They've been wanting this so badly. And they finally got their chance at the Astros. Now, they lost the game, but at least they feel like they maybe won the battle.
A couple of things got under my skin, as often happens.
Shocking.
Right? Oh, because you're Mr. Keep It Together. You don't get annoyed by stuff either.
Very even keeled and mild.
Yes. Alvarez hits a home run, and I'm listening to the call on Houston TV, and they have a guy named Todd Callis who's doing it, and I've heard him do this the last couple of weeks. He's been real salty and real defensive of the Astros, and last night when Alvarez hit the home run, they started going into this whole thing used to be with the Dodgers, laughing, really yucking it up. I don't. This is such a stupid point, but it's just the way I think sometimes because I'm such a fan. Todd Callis' dad was Harry Callis, so he grew up around the Phillies. Bro, stop with the Astros fandom. Just call the G-damn game. You don't have to be super fan and go over the top for the dopey Astro fan sitting at home. We know you're a Phillies fan. This is not honest. Now, me yelling is stupid. Me getting worked up, and no one in this market has any idea who Todd Callis. I mean, you should know Harry Callis.
Harry Callis,
right?
Voice was,
but it's just I'm like, hey, you're a Phillies fan. Stop.
Right.
You're getting all blustery about the Astros.
I cheer for this team because they signed my paycheck.
Right. Stop. Which, okay, that is a topic.
Of course.
When you see super fans of whatever, I'm a Giants fan and now all of a sudden I'm a Raiders backer. Cut it out.
Or I'm the biggest Raiders fan of all time, but now go 49ers.
Yeah.
Who could that be?
And I guess someone could come to me a couple minutes and go and say, UNLV over, huh? Yeah, it's 1.5 wins. And Adam was like, he's busting my chops. I didn't say 8.
You picked a bowl game, I remember.
I didn't.
What's funny is that I was also listening to a partisan telecast, or not a telecast, a broadcast.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Dodgers radio call. And I think Steiner kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Not messed up. He did it right, but he was calling it. And he's like, Alvarez swings. There's a long fly ball to right field.
He forgot.
He forgot he wasn't supposed to be. He thought he was supposed to be
you
like.
should.
That he was like
You
all
should.
in.
You
and then he's like,
should.
oh.
You should get excited. The audience needs to know. I mean, I've done this lecture, it's diatribe a million times. Dan Duva with the Knights is awesome.
Incredible.
You always know something big is happening, even if it sucks for the Knights.
Sure.
Just call the game.
It's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
Oh.
And by the way, you can get excited for the other team. Sometimes something really cool happens. You might get excited. In that scenario, he was like, "Wow!" Oh, yeah. Not supposed
It's
to.
not just
the
doing it
fireball.
muted. It was kind of well, that wasn't muted because it was an Astros home run. But something happened to the Astros last week, and I heard a call, and he mumbled. I'm like, I mean, maybe I'm getting myself in the crosshairs here with one of the guys who worked with Tim Neverett. I don't think Tim does that. But if Tim did it, it'd be like, Tim, you're a Red Sox fan. Let's not you don't have to be Dodger super fan.
Right. It's crazy. Like just call it. We'll be fine. We're adults. Although, you know what? Now that I say that, a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, they want that.
We watched this year.
Yep.
Where all of a sudden Knights fans were like, NBC hates the Knights. Why? Because they're calling the game straight up.
Which I watch the games. I never, and I was, I'll admit, I want to see the hometown team do well in that case. It never entered my mind
Well, then
that they were slanted. And then you told me about it. I was like, what? And then I had, they were hanging at a bar one night and some lady's watching the game and she's like, these announcers. And I'm like, what?
because they want them to be very, very partisan in their favor. And
National announcers.
listen, I asked I did it multiple times during the playoffs. Hey, give me one example. I'll pull the audio. I'll watch it. I'll see what, and nobody could.
Were you going to lean on the vast Lotus sound crew?
No, I had the broadcast. I had the Game Pass.
I didn't know you were calling audio. Good, we can put you to work. Are you going to bet against the Dodgers tonight? Scherzer, minus 240.
I actually was looking
Against Odorizzi?
Odorizzi had like a really good stretch, like 6 starts ago, where it's like 4 straight starts without allowing a run. That's kind of over. Struggled a little bit. I think the Dodgers win. I think the number's too high. I was looking at the under, but those are like 2 of the best offenses in the league, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
Number 2.
I feel like you are a big pat yourself on the back guy when you're on something early.
Well, when
a story starts to develop, I think you're doing a victory lap here, and it's not really a victory you want, but I think you're doing a victory lap because a lot of people push back on you. Adam is the master of it's his thing, and it's actually a really smart thing to do. And I don't think it's a bit, but the last 5 years you've really been strong on a quarterback comes out in the first year and shows some good signs, but you will always find a way to go, stop, calm down. There's reasons why this quarterback may not be, freaking the next Aaron Rodgers. Here's why. And you got on Joe Burrow in the offseason based on some of the stuff you saw in some analytics. I noticed it when we talked to Mo Egger, who covers the Bengals in Cincinnati. We talked to him on Monday, and you threw a question at him like, kind of negative on Burrow in one aspect, and he pushed back a little bit. And now I see a story today. Burrow's last couple of days have been really bad.
Like, concerning.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people that can't, anybody else watching what we're watching here?
He's coming off a super serious injury. And then your concern was, and you've quoted the numbers and you said it a million times, while he was very good in some aspects, he was not good on throwing the deep ball.
Can I give Bengals fans hope? Joe Burrow was historically bad. And anything over 20 yards. There's only like one quarterback in the history of the world that was anywhere close to as bad. And it's Josh Allen.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess in some, on some level, you could have some hope there. But he